All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our first virtual masterclass. And we'd like to thank our Executive Director, Nancy Latorno, for arranging for a wonderful artist that will hear three of our seniors. We have Martin Chalifour, the concertmaster of the LA Phil, and uh, he's with us. If maybe we could see him. Yeah, there he is. Hello, Mr. Chalifour. How are you?
Thank you, thank you. Sorry, I was had a little glitch last second.
Yeah. Well,
I understand.
thank you so much for doing this for us. I know it's um, I find myself very busy even being at home and not working with the San Diego Symphony, and I'm sure you're finding ways of being busy as well. And but
Time has time has been flying by. Yeah, and
yeah, and but
usually, yeah.
we have three seniors that it's great that you're able to provide some insight on maybe how they'll do in college. And so I understand you're also a founding member or founding member, yeah, member of the mainly Mozart orchestra, th-
Yes,
which is like 20, how many years ago? It's 30 years or something?
30 or 31. This one is
Yeah,
30,
yeah. And you've been with the LA Phil for about 25?
25 or so.
25, and how long? And you also teach at the Thornton USC school.
USC. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a lot of things. But anyway, thank you so much for doing this for us. Our first performer is a senior, Nathan Saryawan. He's 17 years old, and he'll be attending Stanford next year, doing computer science and minoring in music. And here's Nathan, and I'll have you guys take it away.
we're stopping here for today.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a terrific concerto, and you're playing with a lot of pizzazz, a lot of excellent articulations. Um, there's that recitative section, which is almost comical. It's like suddenly there's a between circus acts. There's someone who comes to entertain the crowd, and he's kind of drunk, maybe, or not very coherent, and he's speaking with a, you know, almost what we're not supposed to do now, like a lot of vowels, a lot of consonants, and a lot of spitting, and all these grace notes are flying by. So it has to have lots of character. It could be exaggerated a little bit. And the trick is a lot of it is not written, but when you're starting a hairpin in that section, instantly you should be thinking, how am I going to start that hairpin so that I start really soft enough? Yeah. So for instance, if you have number 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, the end of the fourth bar of 8. As long as we don't have big crescendos, we're safe rhythm wise. But what happens to almost everybody is that when you want to intensify the emotion and the dynamic, we start accelerating, and there are some places where it's not a good idea. Like right before number 4. So there are scales in the woodwinds, and you need to subdivide inside to make sure you don't cut those long notes short, right? Yeah. And right before that, Nathan, I would say you're taking a little too long on the rubato because you want to not miss the shift up, right? Can you try to just go a little bit early, and both octave leaps, so that basically the next downbeat, the next first beat that ends up in the same place. Otherwise, it's that wonderful flow from the beginning is a little bit disrupted. Yeah. So let's try that from number 3, please. Oh, yeah. Yada yada da. Yeah. Yeah. So I think maybe it was a factor that the high one's too high. A little bit. Yada da da dee. Make sure they match. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, let's do my favorite section at 7, please. Yeah, 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 yeah. So, what do you think in a recitative like this? What kind of character are you trying to give it? Um, is it is it more of a calm person or someone who's excited about telling something? Or
It's more, yeah, because it's Mark Nerante, right? It's sort of a storytelling, I guess.
uh-huh. So like a story, an exciting story or a very boring story?
Exciting.
Maybe exciting. Yeah, I'm just thinking that it shouldn't be too lyrical, like laid back, a little bit of a uncertainty and excitement, and just a total someone who's totally unpredictable. So like you don't know if they're going to jump at you. So you're listening to the story, but from further back. Yeah. Okay, let's try it again. So not too sostenuto beautiful, but more angular maybe, all right?
Yes.
Just to try. Yeah, yeah. Good, very good. The sound, your sounds very good. I can tell. Directly there. Good, good. Yeah, I think just that kind of more spontaneous feel is terrific for that piece. Well, I want to wish you all the best in Stanford. It is fantastic, fantastic. Keep playing. You'll enjoy it all your life. Yeah, yeah. Great.
Welcome.
We're gonna move on to the next violinist here.
Great. Um, can everybody hear me? Um,
I can.
oh, okay. Great. I'm sure our audience is giving Nathan a big round of applause. Yay!
Yeah.
Bravo, Nathan. Good job. Our next performer is Phoebe Olzowski. She's 17 years old and she'll be attending St. Olaf University and majoring in music and pre-med. And she'll be playing um, Brahms. I think, yeah, that's what she's doing. Okay, Phoebe, are you here? There
Yep,
she
hello.
is.
Hello, welcome.
Hello. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have a little more,
Oh,
or
sure,
that's
yeah.
it for today? Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Sorry to stop you there.
That's okay.
Such a beautiful work. So beautiful. You do wonderful things with it. Those broken octaves and triplets that at the end of the second page. I seldom hear it that beautifully. Really, and in
Thank you.
tune and everything. Yeah, it's very nice. So there's a little dilemma with the necessity, the what it means violinistically to pull off the beginning of this piece, and musically what it should be when you I mean, there's so many traditions, right? So uh, we don't ever hear the beginning being a hurried allegro when we hear the beginning of the orchestra playing in unison and no harmony. Just well, there's harmony, but all in unison. No. But regardless, if when you hear it in general, it is not that. Sounds calm, but it's not that slow. I mean, the quarter notes and they're not eighth notes or 16. So, um, what needs to be audible to be felt is that it's pretty much the close pulse, the close tempo after you enter.
Okay.
There can be a little bit of freedom, but it says solo, but basically you don't have the theme for a lot of it. There's a big flute solo
Okay.
and everything, and the momentum of the quarter note needs to be kept a little bit more. The general tempo. Yeah. So let's begin and make sure that you really don't. Phoebe, could you? I barely see your fingerings, and I don't see certainly the bottom of your bow. Could you angle the camera? No, the other way. Yeah.
Is
Okay.
that better? I
Yeah.
don't know. I can start a
Yeah.
little.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So play the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So each bar feel like a really slow one with direction. One,
Okay.
two. Yeah. Could you give more? That's a little bit extreme, but it's good.
Okay.
How slow you go on the bottom, but that's okay because the basses and cellos have to. They're holding already the first beat and moving on to beat three, and it'll be hard for everyone to go suddenly più mosso right away. So make it a little bit more predictable where you'll end up.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't do both. That sounds beautiful, but what you did was once you get to the A, just go in tempo, I think, because you did a beautiful retard. Good, good, beautiful, beautiful. Here, do you want to try once a little bit more back to tempo at the Dolce?
Sure.
You know, because it's the theme.
Okay.
We've heard it many times already, so I wouldn't ponder too much. There was a beautiful setup for it. So, and I would say, because the whole accompaniment, and most of this is pedal, right? There's not much. There's no counterpoint. With a little bit more in tempo. So, da-dum, ba-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Good. Yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful. That's a good pace. So, terrific there. And yeah, the one last thing I want to talk to you about is something to think about. We grow up. We're out of time after this, but we grow up learning arpeggios and learning about the top of the arpeggios is usually and the F natural extension. So we're almost ingrained to believe that the only way to do more than to do an upper note high enough is to start at the bass. We're at our normal position, figure out where we are, and extend. Just go from the bass and extend the fourth finger. In reality, physically, and the shape of the first finger that can change so much here, we have more reach on the bottom than we think. We have more there than we do on the top, and we have more strength. So in a way, so getting to this is to talk about the octaves, right? The tenth. Look at that passage, something with fresh eyes, but beautiful playing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And now we have Wieniawski, I think.
Yes, yes, Phoebe, that's great. I'm sure everyone is giving her a round of applause. That's wonderful. Next one, we have our last one. We have Evan Zoe, who's 18 years old, and he'll be attending Princeton, majoring in politics and is it what kind of certificate, Evan? I'm not sure.
Music
Yeah,
certificate.
the
Yeah.
certificate.
Good. Good.
And you'll be playing the Wieniawski Polonaise in D. So, all right, have fun.
Good, thank you. I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
about the phone ring. I should have been on mute.
That's fine.
Yeah, it only rings for telemarketers at this time. Um, Good. You haven't. My guess is that you haven't played this with piano yet. Is that
No.
possible?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, I haven't.
No, you haven't. Okay, you'll have little surprises because I think in a process of being alone and not maybe isolated,
Yeah.
learning this piece, you're skipping some beats near the end. It becomes a different meter. It's a little too exaggerated. Um, so basically, the last page, if you're using the usual international edition.
Hmm.
Tum, pa-da-da-yum, pa-da-da, pum, pa-da-da. So it's in three. It sounded more like it was in two. Tum, ta-da-da-yum, two,
Hmm.
three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Yeah.
Hmm.
In tense, probably it would sound better off the string a little bit. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. If you want
Oh
to try
yeah,
that.
off the string.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit more
Okay.
off the string. Um, so let's try that rhythm in the last page once. Make sure that last the change to
Yeah.
the C sharp is correct. Once again. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a little too. That's a little too early. Da 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 dee. Bum bum ba da da dee. Someone answers with the same music, basically. That's continuous with the same pattern. So imagine it. Imagine hearing it when you don't play. Yeah, great, good. And to make it a little more brilliant, don't do a long note because it says just short note. Yeah, and the last one, emphasize it by breaking it. I think you'll have more success with the notes also. Take more time to stretch to the F sharp. Yeah,
Hmm.
once again. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, good. So, let's talk about the beginning.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. If you think about polkas and polonaises and the music of Chopin and the more simplicity of in a way the more simple articulations that come out of a piano. Um, I wouldn't go to with short and long and short notes. Maybe it doesn't matter so much, but it's not too different from the ups and the downs if you don't mind. But
Okay.
the one shortcoming that's comes out of the way it's written because of the E string.
Hmm.
Usually it ends up sounding subito mezzo forte,
Yeah.
especially after the harmonic. So if you could do,
Yeah.
let's try the beginning once again, okay?
Nah.
Okay, okay. So it's basically a measure of intro, right? And right now, I think you're giving the maximum at the beginning note. At the da da dee da 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 ya ba ba. I think let's reverse that. The way it's printed, you have mezzo forte, gradual crescendo to forte. Yeah. So ya da 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 yep. Pa pa pum pa da da da. Let's resume the tempo on the second beat, but in a very regular. Ti da 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 yum pa pa pum pa da da dum pa. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, pa di da di. Yeah, the two beats. That's two beats. So we're still in three.
Oh, yeah.
Dum ba da di da wa ya da 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 dum ba. Good, good. But thank you and have a great
Thank
year
you.
next year, all three
Yeah,
of you.
thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Well, I'll pass the microphone to your leader. Is everybody still here? Hernan?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, all the listeners, please give Evan a round of applause
Yeah.
and thank you so much, Mr. Chalifour, for doing this for us. Now, I wanted to ask our three participants if they have any questions for Mr. Chalifour that he could probably, let you know what you should be doing in college. Evan, Phoebe, Nathan, and our audience, if you have any questions that you may, you
Sure.
could do the question and answer, and we could try to read it and hopefully have an answer for you. Any questions? Evan, Phoebe, Nathan? No one. Any of our audience members have any questions? Someone asked, who is your favorite composer?
For me, it would be, I would say Schubert.
Oh,
There's not a ton of output, of course, but it depends on the. It really depends on the day. I don't, you know, I couldn't live with, I couldn't live without the music of Mozart and Beethoven and even certain Tchaikovsky pieces are to die for. You know, in the ballets, there's good music in across so many years. That's what's fantastic about this, and bringing it to life in all sorts of forms and in transcriptions. And I just scanned a piece of music that I absolutely adore that I played before today for a pianist friend, and it's an arrangement of the Debussy dances for harp and piano quintet or string orchestra, and it's a fantastic solo piece. And there's a version for violin and piano that I'm really curious about. So that's one of the things I want to discover during this confinement period, and you can pass some files back and forth between houses.
right. Now, someone asked, are you practicing more or less during the quarantine?
Um, I would say I'm practicing more, but I'm playing less because we don't get together. We don't have those long symphonies where actually you end up, even if you know the symphony, you end up rehearsing it,
Yeah.
dress rehearsal. So there's less playing involved, but I have more time to really play what I want to, which is super nice. And I've been focusing a lot on Baroque articulations and classical articulations, and try to to go back to basics, and to keep things very clean. And I used to do a lot of scales and arpeggios, and I firmly believe in them, and I'm gonna start doing that more and more.
Great. We have a couple more questions. We have a young violinist who's asking, on average, how long do you practice?
Hmm. Well, I used to practice as much as I could before passing out. When I went to when I was in college, and I did science like a couple of you today. I did sciences. I was very interested in science, and the only two schools I applied to was one was a music school, the other one was for engineering. And I almost went. I would have stayed in Montreal in that case, but it was very tempting. Um, but right now it's in adult life. You teach, you take care of things, all sorts of requests, and you want to get people in touch and help the younger folks have careers and all that. So it's not enough. It's never enough. But I'm probably playing only 2 or 3 hours a day. But practicing, not that much. I'm playing, getting the violin out. I'm trying this. So I have the violin in my hand a lot. But it's the quality practicing that you get to do in a summer camp. In a very serious 4 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the afternoon. Everybody needs that at some point for years and years in a row. Everybody needs it.
And Phoebe asked a question: do you ever get nervous? And if yes, how do you control it?
I cut coffee. I take naps, and it's very hard to control. It's playing. I have a colleague who used to play very slow bows, very slow music backstage before concerts. That was her way. She was my cellist in the chamber group, and that was her way to calm down. Which is true. Sometimes you're fine playing the loud stuff, but it's the poise and getting your heartbeat to go down. I know conductors who pace backstage.
Yes.
And just walk and walk and walk. And when there's a little something, something technical, or for that the house, they have to wait for someone who's for latecomers or whatever reason doesn't like to wait there standing and chit chat. You just walk.
I think it's just the nature of performing that makes us excited and nervous at the same time. Now,
I would say the a small amount of nerves is good, and if at the beginning of the concert you're more comfortable in a particular part of the bow, don't worry too much about that. You'll warm up into it, I would say never have a big meal before you play. If you're hungry, just make sure you eat a little something 2 hours before, 3 hours before.
And one last question: what pieces or etudes do you come back to regularly, and scale systems?
Oh, I love the Gavinias.
Gavinia, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and but right now, in terms of articulation etudes and duets, I love the Leclerc duets. They're very nice. They're not very technical, but musically very satisfying. And as long as I touch arpeggios and scales, I make up my own bowings and things. But when I've been teaching a few juniors in high school this year and younger folks, and definitely the Gavinias have a lot, and Corsa. Both of them are very, very strong.
Yeah.
I don't like the things that are about stretches or all in one position or something. I find that I'm more motivated if there's a beautiful piece of like with Fiorillo etude or something. Yeah. Something with style.
Do you ever enjoy the modern pieces that we have today? After 1980s, or any of these concertos or short pieces, or?
Well, there are a lot of good ones in the bunch. Yeah. I'd say the Thomas Adus violin concerto and is a really big success, and he's a genius composer from England, wonderful. And John Adams is good, and Oliver Nussin, who passed away sadly, was another British composer who wrote a very good violin concerto. So those are my favorites and the new ones.
Great.
And of course, we have the pre-contemporary, we have the modern ones by Hofif and of course and both Shostakovich. Although I favor the Opus 99 a lot.
Well, Mr. Chalifour, thank you so much for your time and audience. Thank you so much for joining us for our first virtual masterclass, and we hope to do it again in the next week or so. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.